How's it going, everyone? Welcome to Giny Arts. I'm Giny, and today we're learning how to draw a realistic hummingbird. As usual, the reference photo is in the description, and without any further ado, let's get to drawing. We're gonna start by sketching out a rough shape of the bird. Draw an oval for the body and connect it with another smaller oval on top. This is the head. Add a thin long beak at the top of the head as seen in the video. Then draw an eye near the edge of the head. Then thin out the bottom oval as seen in the video. This will be the tail. After that, add two wings. Make one a bit less visible because it's covered by the one in the front. Then just add a foot on the bottom of the oval. The foot is basically one hook shape on top and one nail behind it, and then just add one more nail on the opposite side. Now, to start the shading process, we're gonna start with the easiest part, the eye. Just outline it with a dark line and color it black. Make sure to leave a small highlight as seen in the video. Then, gently go over it with a blending tool to make the edges of the highlight blend in a bit better. Then I moved on to the area near the eye. As seen in the video and the reference picture, the area going from the eye to the beak is pretty dark. Just leave a little space between the eye and start drawing a triangle sort of shape. Then gently go over it with a blending tool to smoothen out the edges. Once you have that, you can add some texture to the top of the head. To do that, imagine as if you're drawing fish scales, meaning draw many U-shapes that are interlocking with each other, and gently go over it with a blending tool. After that, I moved on to shading the bottom part of the bird. Since there's a shadow there, it's practically black, but to make it look a bit more realistic, I decided to draw dark individual oval shapes, leaving some space in between each shape. Then I went over it with a blending tool and darkened up the bottom part of the shape. Then just go over it with a blending tool to smoothen everything out. Then I used the blending tool to roughly mark out the cheek area and then moved on to the beak. For the beak, I colored the bottom part black, making sure to keep all the lines neat. Then I outlined the top of the beak but made sure that it's not too dark because, well, I made it too dark and later on had to fix it. Once you're done with that, just go over the top part with a blending tool, making the top part a bit darker. After that, we can move on to the cheek. For the cheek, just lightly draw random rounder shapes inside and shade the bottom part of each shape. Then blend it, making sure that all the shapes merge together, but you have a highlight on each shape. Don't forget to draw a similar triangle on the other side of the eye. Just do the similar thing that you did with the area between the eye and the beak. To finish off the head, do the same thing as you did with the cheek. Just make sure the shapes are smaller, and also make sure to make it a bit lighter and add a bit more highlights. Now we can finally move on to the body. To shade the tummy, just continue doing what you did for the bottom part of the head. Make sure to make the dark oval shapes a bit bigger though. Once that's done, draw more light oval shapes, but this time make them longer. And to get a bit more of the feathery texture, just draw individual hairs on each oval shape. Go over it with a blending tool and then add some individual hairs with an eraser. And then just repeat the process until you have the desired look.
doesnt.
Repeat this texture for the rest of the body. Make sure to darken up the part where the body ends and the tail starts. If you're not sure what I'm talking about, just look at the part under the wing and copy what I do in the video. To shade the foot, just make the nails black and make the rest of the hook shape a bit lighter. Then use an eraser to add some individual hairs above the foot. Once all of that is done, we can move on to the tail. Follow the reference picture to understand where the top part and where the inner part of the tail is. For the outer part, repeat the texture that you used for the body and later on just end it by drawing two long feathers. The feather that's further needs to be thinner and dark. Use a blending tool to lightly shade the other feather. For the inner part of the tail, repeat the texture that you did for the body, just make it really dark. Once we have the body done, we can move on to the wing. For the part where the further wing meets the body, do the same texture as you drew for the body. Then add some thin oval shaped feathers and then draw individual long feathers to finish off the wing. The long feathers should be outlined on the bottom part and it should be significantly darker than the rest of the feather. For the other wing, outline the top part of it, then start by drawing shapes of the feathers for the first layer of the wing. Then shade it by drawing individual hairs and as usual just go over it with a blending tool and add some more texture with an eraser. Then just repeat this until you get the desired texture. For the second layer of the feathers, repeat the process as you did for the first layer, just this time make the feathers lighter. For the third layer, draw long individual feathers, outline them, and make sure that the bottom is darker than the top. Then, just darken up the line where the bottom part of the wing meets the body, and you're done! If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, hit the notification bell so that you don't miss any new videos, and I'll see you guys soon.